So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it down there, and I'm going to zero them scales off. Okay? The first thing I want to do is weigh my bottle. Now this is a recovery cylinder. You would weigh a bottle refrigerant. We're trainers, so we don't do that. First thing I'm going to do is weigh my bottle. And I'm going to record that weight. So 9 kilos, 660, okay? Basically, there's nothing in there, to be honest, but we'll see how we get on for the minute. On the side of these bottles, it says a bottle will have a tear weight capacity. I've never trusted them, tell the truth. They've always been a bit scatty for me. So I always weigh the bottle, whatever I'm doing. So I've weighed that bottle, okay? My bottle's going to weigh 8.7 kg, I think, or 7.8, one of the two. And then the other is my refrigerant, obviously. Now I'm going to charge my system. So to charge my system, I'm going to connect on. Look what side I'm connecting to. Liquid. I'm connecting onto my liquid side, aren't I? Because I want to pull that out. It's a zeotropic refrigerant. It's a 400. That dip tube goes all the way into the liquid. I want to suck it up. I don't want to fractionate it. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to tear off. Press the tear button. Go back to 0. Now I'm going to dump. We call it dumping the refrigerant. I'm going to dump the refrigerant in there, right? So all I'm going to do this, I'm going to open up here, and I'm going to open up on there. My refrigerant now is all the way up here. The chambers are closed, so I'm all the way up to this point. Now, what's in that? What else is in that refrigerant, do you reckon? What could be in there? A risk of
air.
Air. There could be air. So what I would do a tiny little purge just on there. And what it do, just till I get a bit of mist come out of there. Just see that bit of mist? Just till you get that bit of mist come out of there, that means I've purged my hose lines in. So I'm up to here. Now I want to charge as a liquid. That's all I'm doing. I'm going from there to there. So I'm up to here. I'm going to open. And you can see that's put pressure to my gauge. Yeah? So now I'm all the way round and I'm up to this valve. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just mid-seating that valve. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to dump my refrigerant in, okay? And you'll take it up to whatever sort of charge you want, roughly. With this bottle, there ain't a lot in there, so don't think I'm going to get a hell of a lot out of it, to be honest. But for demonstration purposes, we just go to where it's got to go to. Ideally, you know, I'll give you more refrigerant after. Ideally, I'd want about 1 kilo, 200. Okay, we're going to stick with that. We'll go with that. So, at that point, people tend to take a photo of that refrigerant. I don't want you taking a photo of that refrigerant because I've still got, if I disconnect these hoses now, if I was to disconnect these hoses, let me put them all in the shower. If I was to disconnect all them hoses now, it'd cause me aggravation. Because if I was to take them off, there's still refrigerant in them hose lines, so I'd get liquid burns. And it's all about safe handling in this course, isn't it? So, what I'm going to do now, so I've done that, I've shut my safeties off. Okay? I'm going to close my bottle. So now all I've got is trapped refrigerant in these hose lines. I'm going to backseat this valve again now. Just going to backseat that valve on there, okay? So I've got trapped refrigerant in here and trapped refrigerant in them hose lines. With my solenoid in the up position on this unit, with that on the up position, so I've got my compressor up, I've got my solenoid up. It would help if plug that in. Always helps, doesn't it? someone just plug that in for me? Thank you. So with that, I've dumped enough refrigerant in there to satisfy my LP, my low pressure switch, right here. So all I'm going to do, turn my unit on. Now my compressor's pumping, right? Everything's going fine. I'm going to let my discharge, this is my discharge line, coming out of my compressor. Same as that drawing upstairs, you know, everything's always the same. So I'm just letting that warm up, and I can feel the heat coming off of that now, so I know the system's running fine. At this point, I'm going to drop my compressor. I'm literally going to cut the power to the compressor, so the magnet is going to stop, and it's going to, electrical stop, remember? It's isolation, that's all it is. I'm going to put a physical brake in this system, and I'm going to use my compressor then on the upstroke, it's sucking the refrigerant out of the evaporator, bringing it round into my suction, into my compressor. On the downstroke, it's pushing it into my liquid line and into there. Okay? So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop my compressor, drop my solenoid, switch that off, and I'm going to look for that. That's what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to use my suction to pull everything in there. One, two, three, four. And if I open that up, look, you'll see my suction gauge gone up there, my low side gauge. But now, because it's being sucked out, the pressure's dropping. And it's coming down, isn't it? Falling down. So I'm now pulling out refrigerant. I'll open this little valve. I'm pulling refrigerant out of here and out of here, and it's being sucked into my machinery through this suction line. But I've got high pressure trapped here still. So this is already back seated. I'm going to open this one. And look, that one's off. So what I can do is I can open that as well. It won't do any damage because that's closed, so I can open that. What I need to do though is flash it over. I don't want to send liquid flying up into my compressor. Don't want liquid in there, do it, and damage it. So what I do is I flash it in, we call it flashing. And all I do is that. And I just literally, I'll just flash that in, and I'm pulling down that high side. Okay? Got them both open. When I see these going down to zero, I don't want my compressor running dry, so I'm going to switch my unit off. And then I'm going to go back onto my suction, and I'm going to backseat that valve. Everything's safe now. Everything's good as gold. I'm going to switch that off. I'm going to switch that off. That can go off. That can go off. Okay? I can turn that off. Now if I want to, I can disconnect